Hi everybody, Science Man here. I want to do something different. I want to talk about my koi pond. And I'm doing it kind of because it's 15 years old now, and I think I'd like to honor it by talking about it a bit, and maybe one of you want to set one up yourself. And well, it's just been my fun hobby for a long time now, and I'd like to share it a bit more. Now I know there's probably hundreds of how to set up your pond and how to deal with your koi videos like that on YouTube, but this is a little bit different in the sense that this is quite far north in northern Alberta, and we've got a really long winter and sometimes long stretches of -30. So you know, it's a little bit challenging at times with planning and getting your koi to survive, but I'm really lucky. I've only lost one fish in 15 years. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at what we've got here in this series. I'm going to look at this from when the koi pond is kind of at its worst, and right now at the very, very early time of spring. The koi pond isn't much to behold. It's a little bit all the accoutrements are taken down. I've got extras on the pond that I put away for the winter. So all there is in there right now is a heater and some fish. So let's take a look, and we'll talk a little bit about early spring maintenance and how to get things going. So at this time of year, there isn't much to see in koi pond except my cool koi. I'll try and give you a closer look at these dudes. I've got 10 fairly big koi. Again, these are now about 15 years old, so some of them are pretty big. And somewhere in here, there's one ugly goldfish. We won't talk about him too much. Now, this is kept free from ice over the winter with just a simple, plain old trough heater. I got it for 30 bucks at the hardware store. So that is plugged in, and usually what I'll do is I'll set that on a timer, which goes on at dusk and turns back off again at dawn. And really cold weather, -30, I just set it to stay on all the time. The key is to keep your koi pond from getting iced over. And you want to keep an eye on the koi to make sure that they're still active. It's okay and it's normal for them to go into a state of torpor where they don't move around that much. And you really want to feed them a lot less in the winter time. Maybe a few flakes or a few floating pieces of koi food every second day. You definitely don't want to overfeed. That's a killer. And the other thing that I planned ahead on with my koi pond, I'm just going to back up and give you an overall view of this. The pond is about 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, but the key is that it's 3 feet deep, and I can't stress that enough. If you want to have a successful pond, you try and make it as deep as you can, and that's what keeps water temperature fluctuations to a minimum, because what really kills fish is fluctuating temperatures. So I guess another thing to make note of course, safety first. If you do put one of these ponds in your yard, you obviously can't have small children around that are going to fall into it. So, you know, plan ahead in that regard. So, not much else to see here early in the spring. Things look pretty terrible. There's, you know, in the spring, this has got fountain coming out of it, and plants, and all sorts of other accoutrements. I look forward to showing you that, and I'll also talk a little bit more about the details of construction later. But really, in early spring here, these guys have gone for quite a few months. With the only thing I've done is on warm days I top up the water level. That's it. And their last real good filter cleaning was months ago. So it's time to to give that filter a cleaning. And here's the gory details. Let's just haul that guy out right now. It's a huge suction filter. It's connected to a pump. And I'm going to see if we can get her done. Good luck. Here. Oh, I'm too old for this. Oh. Come on. There we go. Oh, okay, just about got it. And here's our pump. So there's our filter. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the power to that pump so we don't make so much noise. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clean this filter and come back and drop it back in. Okay, so here we are inside taking a look at one of the components of my filter setup. This is a filter that has interconnecting pieces. So what you're looking at here is one of 5 that connect end to end. And normally on a warm day, I would just take these apart outside and hose them off really well inside and out with the garden hose. But it's kind of cool outside today, so I'm going to clean this thoroughly inside. And really what that amounts to is just taking these components apart and then hauling the stuff out. So this is a piece of carbon filter. You couldn't tell right now because it's so disgustingly dirty. So there you go, and you can see it's really awful. In between 2 pieces of carbon filter, I've got a bag of activated charcoal. Again, it looks terrible. It's been months between cleanings, and here we go with another piece of carbon. So from a science perspective, I tried to cover all the bases of what fish filtration needs, and that is, clarifying the water, taking out ammonia. So one of the components of the filter apparatus has those little rocks that absorb ammonia. So we've got carbon that clarifies the water, and we've also got just regular manual filtration with filters like this, foam filters like this. Again, it looks awful right now, but what we'll do is we'll clean it off, and I'll give you a look at what this should look like when it's nice and clean. Now, one last word. Filter does take up room in your pond, but what you want to do is you want to shoot for the biggest possible filter you can put in your pond without being overly obtrusive. So there's tons of styles and models of filters, but really what you want to do is go big or go home, because the bigger the filter you get, the less often you're going to have to clean it, and the more your fish are going to thank you, because you're going to have better quality, cleaner water. So with that being said, let's pause and through the magic of video, see what this looks like, these filter pieces look like when they're a little bit cleaner. Okay, so here's what one of the pieces of foam filter media look like after it's been cleaned. I'm lying. I looked at how terrible, disgusting the foam filter looked like, so I just decided I'm not going to clean that. I'm just going to put it into one. So this is what it looks like when it's new. And again, really what these filters are just a series of different media in order to get your water as clear as possible. So I'm going to finish up cleaning this, and then we'll meet you back at the pond to put this filter back in. Okay, so here's the completed cleaned filter, and yeah, I like this style of filter because it has different interchangeable components where you can easily clip on extra or remove as you deem fit. I have right here a carbon filtration unit, and these are 2 mechanical filtration. Then there's a bacteriological component, another manual one, and this works really well to keep my water clean for months at a time. Now, Obviously, you're going to have to clean according to the size of your pond and schedule. Schedules will vary depending on how many fish you have, how much algae you have building up in the water, and so on. But I will say I really like this style of filter, again, for its flexibility and very simple concept for operate. For those of you who don't know, the pump suction end goes into this end of the filter, so the pump sucks water through the filter, so water enters through these vents, and then there's connection ports through the filter so that water is drawn all the way through the filter and then out through the hose to the pump, and the pump ejects nice clean water to your pond. And one last word, never clean your fish filter with any chemicals or soaps. You're going to kill your fish. So you just have to use elbow grease and plain old water. Okay, so let's go get this installed back in the pond. Okay, we now have this filter ready to go back into the pond, and you can see it's quite a simple setup. There's my fish pump. There's the water pump, and that's what's drawing the water through the filter via this hose. And again, one last time, I'd like to urge you, get the biggest filter that you can that is not going to be too obtrusive for your pond. You will thank yourself later. Spend a little extra money up front. However, you don't want to be cleaning your filter every week. You really want to be enjoying your pond and only have to clean your filter once a month rather than having to clean that filter all the time. Okay, I'm just going to pause this video, and what we're going to do is insert the filter back in the water, and we'll fire it up and see what it looks like. Okay, we've got the filter installed down in the water, and you can see that the water is flowing like crazy. And this is a really nice tip. If you can somehow get the outflow of your pump directed at the surface of the water, that really does two things. One is that it creates really nice turbulence at the surface. And if you don't like it, like spoiling the calm of your pond, just do it in a corner somewhere. But that turbulence really provides a lot of oxygen to the fish in your water. And the second thing is that it's a very easy visual cue as to how well your filter's working. Before I cleaned the filter, that water was barely moving, and that's because my filter was really plugged because it hadn't been cleaned in 3 months. Now I know that the water's moving really well through the filter, and the next time a cleaning is warranted, this will probably be a reduced flow again. So it's a really nice visual cue. Okay, that's it for Science Man's first in a series of koi pond videos. I hope to have a much better pond for you to inspect later in the spring. In the meantime, please subscribe if you like my videos. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.